Hey Mom, it's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. I don't feel like I really got to tell you how awesome you are or how much I love you today on the phone. And so I wanted to, get to tell you a little bit. I find that, words are never going to fully express how I'm feeling or what I'm saying. Words are always, 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 always ineffective. And that's what you learn actually in acting class, is that words are always ineffective, and that's why you keep talking, because if you could just say it, then you would stop. But because words can never fully demonstrate what you're trying to say, you keep talking to try and, make your point. And there's no words for me to tell you how amazing of a woman you are, how much of an impact you've had. And I make these videos and I tell you and I tell you, but it's like, I don't think, no matter how many times I made a video or how many times I said those things, that I could really tell you how amazing you are for me. You are just a light. You are gracious. You inspire me. You inspire others. I have so many memories of being small and how you made things fun. Like when I didn't want to do my homework or when I didn't want to do things, you'd find ways to make things more fun. I remember actually sitting at the table, that glass table we had in Tabor Court, and sitting down with my math homework and not wanting to do it, and you saying, I bet you can't do it in 10 minutes or something like that. And be like racing to get it done, to prove you wrong, and so many fond memories like that. Like when we used to go to the movies together, or when we went to the circus for my birthday, or when we went to the aquarium, or the zoo. Oh my god, the Bronx Zoo. Remember that trip? There's just so many memories that I have. And in all of them, if I was down or if I didn't feel like I could push forward with something, you found a way to make it more fun, to motivate me to keep going. And if there's any way that I can do that for you now when you need it the most, I want to be able to do that for you. I love you so much. You're such a guiding light, a motivating force, and I'm so grateful to have you in my life. I think it's time I read a chapter for you. Here you go. Wait. Send out Thin Mints. As part of my responsibilities, I used to be an academic reviewer. That meant I'd have to ask other professors to read densely written research papers and review them. It could be tedious, sleep-inducing work, so I came up with an idea. I'd send a box of Girl Scout Thin Mints with every paper that needed to be reviewed. Thank you for agreeing to do this, I'd write. The enclosed Thin Mints are your reward, but no fair eating them until you review the paper. That put a smile on people's faces, and I never had to call and nag them. They had a box of Thin Mints on their desks. They knew what they had to do. Sure, sometimes I'd send them a reminder email, but when I'd ping people, all I needed was one sentence. Did you eat the Thin Mints yet? I've found Thin Mints are a great communication tool, but also a sweet reward for a job well done. All you have is what you bring with you. Chapter 46. I've always felt a need to be prepared for whatever situation I found myself in. When I leave the house, what do I need to bring? When I teach a class, what questions should I anticipate? When I'm preparing for my family's future, without me, what documents should I have in place? My mother recalls taking me to a grocery store when I was 7 years old. She and I got to the checkout counter and she realized she had forgotten a couple of items on her shopping list. She left me with the cart and she ran off to get what she needed. "I'll be right back," she said. She was gone just a few minutes, but in that time I had loaded all the items on the belt and everything was rung up. I was left staring at the cashier, who was staring at me. The cashier decided to make a sport of the situation. "Do you have money for me, son?" she said. "I'll need to be paid." I didn't realize she was just trying to amuse herself, so I stood there mortified and embarrassed. By the time my mom returned, I was angry. "You left me here with no money. This lady asked me for money, and I had nothing to give her. Now that I'm an adult, they'll never catch me with less than $200 in my wallet. I want to be prepared in case I need it. Sure, I could lose my wallet, or it could be stolen. But for a guy making a reasonable living, $200 is an amount worth risking. By contrast, not having cash on hand when you need it is potentially a much bigger problem. I've always admired people who are overprepared. In college, I had a classmate named Norman Meyrowitz. One day, he was giving a presentation on an overhead projector. In the middle of his talk, the light bulb on the projector blew out. There was an audible groan from the audience. We had to wait 10 minutes until someone found a new projector. "It's okay. There's nothing to worry about." We watched him walk under his knapsack and pull out something. He had brought along a spare bulb for the overhead projector. Who would even think of that? Our professor, Andy Van Dam, happened to be sitting next to me. He leaned over and said, "This guy is going places." He was right. Norm became a top executive at Macromedia Incorporated, where his efforts have affected almost everyone who uses the internet today. Another way to be prepared is to think negatively. Yes, I'm a great optimist, but when trying to make a decision, I often think about the worst case scenario. I call it the eaten by wolves factor. If I do something, what's the most terrible thing that could happen? Would I be eaten by wolves? One thing that makes it possible to be an optimist is if you have a contingency plan for when all hell breaks loose. There are a lot of things I don't worry about because I have a plan in place. I've often told my students, when you go into the wilderness, the only thing you can count on is what you take with you. And essentially, the wilderness is anywhere but your home or office. So take money, bring your repair kit, imagine the wolves, pack a light bulb, be prepared. I think that's enough for tonight, but I love you. I got a new dress on Melrose and I'm wearing it right now. I want you to see it. There's Linda. I don't know if you... My new dress. Spins. It spins. Okay. I love you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day.